Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's the Blue Morning Show once again, and I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone. Please do accept it, and I hope you're all doing well. Stav, good morning to you, Blue Morning to you, and welcome back
Morning.
to the Blue Morning Show.
Thanks. Morning.
I hope you're doing well, my friend.
Physically and that, yeah, but my mood and temper is not very good.
I hope you get better. I hope you get better, and hopefully
No, I'm
things
not
will
ill.
get.
I'm okay. It's my temper. I'm really angry, but we'll discuss it later.
Okay, the situation, yeah. Okay, I hope it changes too. It's the same thing, it's your mood that we're talking about. So today we have a lot to talk about. We'll talk about the status of the sales process, and also we'll talk about one of the potential owners being Islamophobic, racist, if you like. We'll go into that in details. And first, we'll start with the update. And with the update, we're hearing that the government will not have an active role in selecting the new owner, and that's good news because that's important for us, given that we want Roman Abramovich to pick the best owner for us. That makes sense because had it been up to the government to select who the new owners will be, hence that politics will play a role, will become a factor in them selecting the new owner, and then we could end up in the hands of an owner who doesn't really care about the club. So since Roman will still have a hand in selecting who the new owner is, that is a huge news for us. We will most definitely be left in good hands. So that makes on its own makes me happy. And another update is that there are more new entrants into the whole process. For instance, the Ricketts family, they're planning to team up with Jim Griffin, a hedge fund manager. That is some news, but from an angle that is concerning to us, we don't want that to happen. So, Stav, any update from your end? But before you continue, I'd like to say blue morning to Bobby Fairview. Always good to see you. He says blessings on the channel. Thank you very much. I accept that blessing. And the channel is really growing. That means a lot to us. And also, no racist owners. Yes, I like that. And maybe we should start a hashtag. It's important. We don't want that because it goes against all the very principles that define Chelsea Football Club. Romana and the club overall, they've been the most active in terms of the campaign against racism and discrimination of all sorts. So, Stav, any update from your end before we go into the topic proper?
If you haven't heard anything yet, I don't know how many people have heard this, but we have to play our home Champions League games behind closed doors until we have a new owner.
Why is that?
Well, that's like I said, I'm angry about it, but we'll discuss that after the ownership thing. Okay, it's basically.
It's an update. You can go ahead and talk about it now.
Yeah, the UEFA have come out and saying that they want to be in the same stride as the EU and the UK government. So they're going to, whilst we still have Roman Abramovich as official owner, we're not allowed to sell any tickets. So I'm assuming it's not just behind closed doors. I would assume that means no away support either. It's just this is why I'm angry. Right? At the end of the day, it wasn't that long ago when the Greek government got involved in the Greek league and UEFA and FIFA suspended the league, right, and told the government that the league would remain suspended until they stopped meddling in football affairs. Right? I just don't know who they think they're punishing here. Not punishing Roman. He's give up the club. They're not punishing him. Punishing the staff, the supporters, the players, and everybody. Like, same thing as the FA and the government. And it's ridiculous. I don't understand it. Yeah, it's hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy.
It is hypocrisy because that begs the question: what happens to the principle not mixing football with politics? And it sets a dangerous precedent. already, you see, I think it was Mikhail the last time on this show who talked about, the restrictions on Chelsea Football Club being a dangerous precedent and a slippery slope. Now it's happening because UEFA is picking up, it's picking up where the British government left off. Now politics are being mixed with football everywhere. So I wouldn't really, yeah, you could argue that it was the British government that started everything because the UEFA is picking up where they stopped from, where they stopped at, and it's concerning. It doesn't really make sense. Go ahead.
Well, where's right? I don't them that we can't mention, and that started the whole thing off, right? After this situation isn't the only piece of ineptitude, the way they run the country and the way and all this stuff. Like, it's not the only ineptitude. I don't mind them sanctioning Roman. Obviously, it has to be done. Right, I accept that. Right, the club is not. It's been given a license to continue. Okay, so put someone in charge of setting up that license who knows something about the sport, right, and knows what they're doing, and you keep the integrity of the sport. There's no integrity being shown towards Chelsea, right? How is it a fair level playing field when you're doing all these different things? So where's the integrity of their competition? And I'll tell you something, right? We will get back to normal when we get a new owner, right? And the very next time that within the Champions League, UEFA will know what Chelsea fans think of them, right? They will know what they think of them, because it happened before when we had that game with the against Barcelona, where the referee was blatantly, obviously biased and stitched us up when we should have had 4 or 5 penalties, and Barcelona scored in the last minutes to go through on the away goal. So we had that, and every game after that, UEFA were left in no doubt what Chelsea fans think of them. Okay, so like every time they play that stupid, ridiculous tune, they're going to get the same response. It'll be drowned out by the crowd. It's absolute. There's no integrity coming from these authorities. There's none. It's about sport. Everything should be a level playing field. You can't punish players, right? And you can't punish the supporters because of one person. And he's been punished. He's had everything frozen. He can't have any money from the club, right? And there's absolutely no excuse for it. Absolutely no excuse whatsoever. There's no integrity. UEFA, right, have lost all integrity. Right? I understand the EU sanctioning Roman Abramovich, right? And I understand the British government taking a sanction against him. But you don't sanction the staff, the players, the managers, coaches, and all the employees and all that, right? And Thomas Tuchel wasn't happy about it last night when they told him. He said, well, can we wait? Let's wait till it's official. And the British reporter from Sky, Gary Coachila, I think it was, he said it is official. And I've checked this morning and it is official. Absolutely ridiculous and pathetic. They're pathetic. Right? It
is really concerning. And Tobago here says we were robbed that day. That's another thing. I'm not sure what he's referring to. And Antonio Mulenga, go ahead. You wanted to say something? Because I want us to quickly switch to the main topic for the day. Yeah. But go ahead. You wanted to say something, Stav?
Yeah, he's probably talking about that game against Barcelona when the Norwegian referee basically.
Oh, yeah, because I was knocked off a bit due to some connection issues. Now, Anthony Mulenga, I don't think I've seen you before, but welcome to the channel, and you're free to subscribe and click on the like button. Always good to see new people here. Guys, what happens to Chelsea if the new owners comes in? Does it mean that the sanctions will go away? Please help me with this question. The sanction will go away immediately, if you ask me. That's at least that's how I see it, because the purpose of the whole sanction is to pressure Mr. Roman Abramovich, who they believe have ties with the Russian President Vladimir Putin to pressure him to get him to stop the invasion, to stop the crisis in Ukraine. What do you say, Stav?
The sanctions will go away once the checks have been taken on suitability and stuff like that, and the money's transferred into the foundation or wherever the money's going to go. That's when the deal's completed. But it's up to Rain now, right, to inform Roman. We're talking tomorrow, aren't we? Now, Thursday today. It's up to Rain to do it as quick as possible, and let's get things moving, get the wheels right in motion as soon as possible, get the checks done.
And again, here's where the whole thing don't make sense to me again. The man has relinquished ownership on its own. Willingly, he says, okay, I'm stepping back. He's been suspended as a director. What else do they think? Do they think that will make any difference? Like the sanction of, restricting the club in so many ways that causes hardship to those that work for the club. It just doesn't make sense. It's so annoying. It's you could argue it's become a witch hunt, and it doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, the thing is, right? Ultimately, they made their decision to sanction him and freeze his assets, right? And then the EU did the same thing, right? That shouldn't have any relevance to UEFA. As far as I'm concerned, UEFA's relevance is having a level playing field on the pitch, and that includes having supporters from both teams, right? And protecting the integrity of their sport. Now, I don't see any Chelsea fans, right? If you take the Chelsea fans, for example, right, the likelihood is none of them have gone and invaded Ukraine, but there's a possibility that there's Chelsea fans out there now fighting with the Ukraine forces, right? Okay, on their side, because a lot of ex-British militaries have gone out there, right? You probably don't see it in your news, right? They're out there. And they could
I see those things. Some Americans are there too.
Yeah. So the thing is, there could be Chelsea fans over there fighting, right? So where's the fairness to them who were there fighting and trying to do the right thing? Okay. And we're like nobody, right, has backed Putin out of Chelsea's support. Nobody agrees with him. Like we sing Roman's name, and that's what he did for the club. And out of affection or whatever you want to call it, right? It's just a mark of respect to him. But apart from the one incident up at Burnley, right, it's had nothing to do. Nobody's like backed Putin or backed Russia or anything, and they've shown their support for the Ukraine. Okay? Now, it's just pathetic. It's pathetic. There still has to be sporting integrity in your competitions, right? And politics shouldn't come into it. And as I said, when you disappeared, the next time that Chelsea fans are allowed into a stadium and that anthem for the Champions League starts being played, okay, the Chelsea fans will drown it out. If they've done it before, I've been there when they've done it before. I was there myself.
Here's the thing, that brings me to this Mikhail's comment. It's not fair at all. It's not fair. No, there's no way you will see it. I mean, it cannot be justified. You're making people suffer for not just because it will not have any impact. It will not in any way pressure Roman to say he cannot even if he wants to, he cannot get Mr. Putin to withdraw his troops from Ukraine. So it just doesn't make sense to keep doing this and making innocent people suffer. And Mikhail says it's not fair, it's not level playing field, it is political, and it's targeted at Chelsea Football Club as a proxy for Putin, even after Roman has given up the club. That's the point. That's the whole point. This has become a daylight witch hunt. There's no other way to explain it, because how can they justify this?
Yeah, can I make a point?
How can they justify this?
Yeah, can I make another point? Yeah.
Yes, go ahead,
totally related to this, right? There's another football club, okay, English football club, and I'm not talking about Newcastle here, right? I don't want to bring Saudis into it and all that stuff. Forget them for now, right? But obviously that's an issue. Man City's an issue. right? The former Leicester City owner who died in the helicopter crash, right? There was questioning about his validity, right? There's the Turkish guy who I mentioned who's took over Hull City, and they're umpteen, right? Foreign owners. But the issue I have now is that out of curiosity, okay, I looked up, Islamophobic, who used to be at Arsenal, and he had the naming rights to Everton's training ground, okay? He's been sanctioned. He's been sanctioned, right? Now, I've looked at the main shareholder, Masudi, right? He's British-born Iranian, yeah, but he's CEO, right, and a shareholder of USM, which is a Russian company, okay? So you've got him there. So he's a major shareholder in a Russian company, and he's the CEO of that Russian company. And there are two other Russians on their board. Okay, so have they been sanctioned? Have they been sanctioned? Have they even been looked at? The whole thing, right? From them, we're not allowed to mention, right? We all know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah, we do know.
Yeah? Right. The whole thing with them was they wanted a high-profile example. Yeah. It didn't start off as shall we say, like as a vendetta or an issue against us, right? They just wanted a high-profile example. The problems we're experiencing from that direction is down to the ineptitude of the people who set up the license, of which one is from Liverpool, right? So she could even be a Liverpool fan and have her own agendas, right? The whole thing was set up by idiots, right, who don't have any knowledge of football, right? The vast majority of the cabinets have no knowledge of the jobs they're doing, that they've been given. They're there because they adhere to whatever shall we say, the leader wants them to do, right? If they have no knowledge in any of the things they're doing, okay, right? And the hypocrisy surrounding that it's a distraction. It's a political.
It is.
It's a political distraction for their ineptitude and the things that they're being looked into. Is anybody going to sanction the British government? Right? I know I shouldn't mention them, but they're dealing with these people, right? And they've got their own issues, and like nobody's turned around and said, like, let's say from the EU, well, we're going to stop our trade deal with you because we don't agree with things that you're doing and the way you're operating, right? It's ridiculous. Football is football. Sport is sport. Should have nothing to do with politics.
Here's another question I want to ask here, Sav. I did one of the first videos I did on this channel was the video where I talked about why people should become or remain Chelsea supporters. That was during should I call it crisis, the Super League crisis. And one of the things in my research I found that Chelsea was used as a ground to keep war refugees, Belgian war refugees. Nobody counts all those things. Nobody counts how much Chelsea puts into charity, how much Chelsea are the most active club in terms of campaigning against discrimination of all sorts. Nobody talks about that. And the people who don't want to name here, they don't talk about how much the man put in during that is at the height of the COVID crisis, the hotel room, feeding the NHS and all that. Nobody talks about that now. They just want to make sure that they run the club into the ground. This question on the screen now says another question. Let's just address it because quickly we want us to talk about what this particular episode is about, really. Another question for you, Stav, is when are we expecting the new owners to take charge of Chelsea Football Club? Can it take another week? Because I'm concerned like this guy now. All I want is just let the ownership switch already so that they can leave us be. They're breaking our hearts. They're killing us. Go ahead, Stav. Yes, so how soon can the new owners take over?
It could be anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks because they have to do the checks. The Premier League have said they can do it real quickly within 10 days. Right, so this is why I said, as of tomorrow, they need to make their decision Rain and Roman choose whoever they've got and get their name to the government, right? Then the government have to say okay, and then it's about transferring the money and the checks. I mean, it could be done as quick as the government wanted to, right? They can rush things through themselves. What makes me angry is that they've had their high-profile distraction by what they've done to Roman, and yet they're still trying to crucify the club. And they're not deliberately trying to crucify the club, right? It's that they just don't have any common sense with regards to the running of a football club. Now, they've decided, right, that it's a community, it's a good community vehicle. They've decided that the club's important to the I can't think of the word, right, to Britain, right, in respect of what it is, right, an institution, right, and yet they won't listen to anything. They've decided that they've increased the travel expenses for Saturday, so the club can fly there, but it's still going to entail probably them flying in on the same day, okay, right? So they're going to have that flight, but luckily the flight's an hour, right? And hopefully they've got a private jet and they can get checked in quickly and get the flight on and get off quickly, right? So that reduces the time of travel, right? I can only assume that they have to fly on the day. But
and hopefully I don't go off. I don't go off, with the F words here. I will hold myself because I don't want to lose my channel after all the hard work that I put in. But the fact still remains, I think it was Mikhail that said that, I forgot who said that on the channel, that they're setting a dangerous precedent, and it's happening right now. Now, look at this comment on the screen where just Viola is saying, did you all see the video of Chelsea fans being, tear gas? Yeah, a little, and it was targeted. It wasn't like it was a mistake for no just cause. And the other video, nobody talks about how they were cleaning up after themselves after they ate outside, and had some fun outside or something like that. It just want to see them suffer even more, and that is down to the precedents set by the British government, and it's scary. It's becoming dangerous. Everybody, the pundits, not talking about. It's only. I just thank you to Rio Ferdinand for saying it, for calling it what it is. It is pure attack. It is a targeted attack on the club, and not really the man himself, because they're not hurting the man in any way. They can't even do anything to the guy himself, who's commanded people to invade another country. It just doesn't make sense in any way.
He doesn't care, right? It doesn't affect him. Do you know that Putin sanctioned Russian TV to show the game last night? Right? He allowed it because they're not allowed to show anything from outside Russia. Okay, right? It's the censorship on the TV and everything. But he sanctioned them to show that game last night, right? I don't know where they got their stream from or how they managed to show it or whatever, right? That's not the relevant point. The relevant point is they made a big issue out of it. The British media made a big issue out of the fact that Putin sanctioned it as if it's the club's fault, right? They even made an issue out of that. And this thing with the police yesterday, right? Basically tear gassing the supporters, right? Some of the media have said, oh, well, they were chanting Roman Abramovich's name, etc., and blah, 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 right? And they were also singing Chelsea, 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 right? I know what they're singing because I've been there. I've been at games like this in Europe, right? And it's just pathetic. The French police wanted to make an example of the English, okay? So that's where their tactic comes from, right? Because there's hatred between the two countries. There's a general dislike and things like that, okay? And the British tend to make jokes about the French during World War II and stuff like that, right? What they forget, I shouldn't be saying this, but I'm going to say it because I'm fed up with the whole thing. Right? What they forget is that they're the ones that ran away from the Germans. They're the ones who jumped on board.
All right, stop. Let's bring it down to the topic now. I think let's just switch because we're going to be going down deep into politics even more and not talk about how the whole situation is affecting our club. Let me ask this question now.
Just one last thing before you ask the question. Phillips, because you mentioned him yesterday. Phillips, or Simon Phillips is, right? He was on Twitter, and 2 or 3 Chelsea fans posted things about the police tear gassing and that, right? And one was a girl, and she posted something twice, right? Like within 10 minutes of each other. And he's basically posted on Twitter, if anyone's got footage, right, and can tell me what's happened, he said, I'll try and get it out there. So he's trying to get it out, like what actually happened, as opposed to the rest of the media just making their own ideas of it. So Simon Phillips is trying. Well, I'm gonna assume that his integrity is that he actually wants to get the real story out rather than just wanting the pictures and the footage. So there was an exchange on Twitter last night about all the police thing. So go on, carry on.
Yeah, so what I want to say now, you heard about the new entrants and the Ricketts family trying to
I know.
team up with the Chicago Cub owners. Can you tell us a little more? What do you know? I think they're trying to team up with a guy called Ken Griffin for their own consortium, and Ken Griffin is one worth around $27.3 billion, I think, dollars. But there's an issue with that. If Ken can come alone as an individual buyer, I'd say I'm fine with it. But something else came up. I don't know if you've heard about it. About the Ricketts family. Is it Islamophobic comment from their father? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I know about the fact that he openly said it. I think in an email to media or someone like that, he said that Muslims are his enemies, right? So that makes me. He's obviously a Republican, then, isn't he? If he's going down that line.
Yeah, possibly. But no, let's just stick politics out of it. But go ahead.
What I'm saying is, right, he obviously comes from a right-wing background, and we don't want that. Right? We don't want it. I know all about this. Listen, right, just so people know, okay? Like, this thing has engulfed me. The whole thing has engulfed me. And I check the news every half hour, right? And I use, I do a Google search, and I get websites come up, and they give you news from 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, right? So I've tried to and it's engulfed me, and I've tried to be as factual as I can when I come on this channel, right? And have as much information as I can. And yeah, I knew all about the Islamophobia and that comment that he told, and then he tried to backtrack on it. Okay, right? So, but the thing is, he said it openly, and he said it publicly, right? So, no, we don't want him. We don't want him, and they don't want anybody who's connected.
Yeah,
with him.
Let me ask you this: what if they come with the argument that if they weren't the one that said it was their father? How would you respond to such an argument?
No, I don't want it. Listen, right?
I'm just asking a question. If they come now, I say, because
I don't want them either.
That's an argument. We live in a modern world, a civilized world, especially the UK and the United States, where nobody talks about, well, it's his father. Well, he didn't say that. So what are you going to say to that argument? If you're in the chat, let us know. My question is, if this guy's not, because they have not withdrawn their intention. They haven't said, well, we're giving up. No, I think they will keep coming to see if they will buy the club, especially now that they're teaming up with Ken Griffin. If you're in the chat, the question for you is, what if they start arguing, well, we didn't say anything about the Muslims. It was our father that said it. What are you going to say to them? If you're in the chat, let us know. You let us know, Stab. What are you going to say to them if they come with that argument?
I don't care. Listen, right? People are not born racist. Right? When you're born, you're just a baby, you're a child. You're not born racist. You don't have those thoughts, right? And usually it's put in your mind by either your parents or your parents turning a blind eye to where you're getting your beliefs from. You could be getting your beliefs from, shall we say, a political party or the old National Front in the UK, right? You could be getting your beliefs from that, but your parents know that you're doing that, and they allow you to be involved in that, right? So ultimately, you have to say it's bad parenting. And if your parent is thinking that way, there's a very strong chance that's the way you think. And you can stand there and deny it to me, right, face to face, but I will never believe anybody who tries to tell me that they're not of the same belief. I don't want them. End of story. I don't want them. Right?
Here's the issue now, and we have to be truthful here. You and I can sit here and argue to tomorrow how we don't want them, and then they'll still end up becoming the new Chelsea owners. What happens if that happens? Because we can't stop it. We can't.
Listen,
we can't.
Listen, I've got to drop out because I'm getting feedback. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm getting feedback.
Yeah. So if you're in the chart, like I asked before, can you let me know? Because we live in a modern world. They say you are innocent until proven guilty. And that's especially true in the UK. That's especially true in the United States. And in such case where now it is clear the email was sent by their father. Josvial, I'm asking you, Strilbia, I'm asking you, Mikhail, I'm asking you. And by the way, the link to the panel is in the chart if you want to join us. And they start arguing, well, it wasn't them. They're not like their father. After all, because the common argument, they say, well, they employ Muslims, they employ Christians, they employ blacks, they employ whites. They're not racist, they're not Islamophobic. If anybody worse, it was their father. What are you going to say to that argument? Because it's very common here.
Then you're going to employ people who are in the market, right? Yeah, for employment in the UK. Okay, you know that they had a very big immigration community that were doing fruit picking and stuff like that, right? And vegetables and things, right? And now this year, right, all the crops have been destroyed, and there's been a shortage because the people who were doing that, usually Romanian, Polish, people like that, right, who are members of the EU, and because of what they've done in the Brexit, they've gone home. So now they've got a shortage because locals won't do certain jobs, okay? Right, and especially, I can only speak about Britain because that's my experience, right? So they won't do local jobs. So you employ whoever right, is willing to do the work, and you will employ foreigners. You will employ Asians or whatever. Anybody who's willing to do that work. Doesn't mean you're not an Islamophobe. It doesn't mean you don't like foreigners. That you like foreigners and you're okay and you're not racist, right? You're only thinking about the money, and you will employ anybody who will do the dirty jobs that you don't want, right? Well, my parents, I don't want to get political, but I want to give you a bit of a background, right? My parents went to the UK from Cyprus in 1960, right, when we got independence from the British, yeah? And they went to Britain because we were still part of the Commonwealth.
Just bring it down to what we're talking right now, because... Stop the background. Let's be honest, the background isn't necessary right now because you will make the whole conversation too political.
It's not.
I understand.
It's not.
Go ahead, Stav. Go ahead.
It's about employing foreign people, right? And it was the British deliberately went and gave permission to anybody from the Commonwealth to go to Britain because certain jobs they didn't want to do, the British people themselves. And then within like 2 years, 3 years, they were starting to talk about sending people back. Okay? So the fact that you're employing somebody...
But Stav, the issue is that you're not answering my question here.
I am. The fact that you're employing somebody doesn't mean you're not racist. It doesn't mean that you actually like all your staff. Prove it then. Are they paid as much?
Exactly. There you go. That's the point I'm looking for. Because the common argument in the United States and probably Britain, can somebody block this guy that's trying to sell followers, please? And probably in the United Kingdom will always be, well, it was his father that sent it. That doesn't mean that they're racist themselves. They're different individuals. That's where I'm coming to. You understand? That's what I wanted you to say, because most definitely that argument will arise, and they know already. That's why you haven't heard from them saying we're not interested in buying Chelsea anymore. Now, like I asked you before, What if that happens? If eventually they succeed in buying Chelsea Football Club, what do you think will happen? Because I'm seeing some fans on Twitter saying, well, if he buys Chelsea, then I'm giving up Chelsea. If he buys Chelsea, then I'm not supporting Chelsea anymore. If he buys
That's
Chelsea,
the whole
forget
point.
about Antonio Rudiger, forget about Eduardo Mendy, forget about N'Golo Kante, forget about all the Muslims at the club. What do you think will happen if they succeed in buying Chelsea?
Rain, right, who have been put in charge of dealing with all this stuff, right, won't found. I would be very surprised if they find them acceptable. Okay, it doesn't matter. Remember what I said to you yesterday, right? Somebody asked the question, right, and I said to you, it isn't necessarily the biggest bid that will win. Okay, it's not the one who's offering the most money, because the money, to all intents and purposes, has become irrelevant, right? It's become irrelevant. It's more about getting the right kind of owners, yeah, than the money. They're all going to offer between 2 and 3 billion, right? Maybe still 2.5, 2.7, right? The 200,000, the extra 200 million or whatever, right, is going to become irrelevant to the sale of the club, right? If somebody has a reputation like this, like you're talking about, right? So it's not gonna be, and somebody like Rain are gonna have conversations with Bruce Buck, with Marina, with Roman, right? And like I said, they sent that questionnaire out. Okay. Now the thing is, we know we've got Muslim players, right? Islam, right, as you want to call, shall we call it, right?
Yes,
Is
that's
more,
what it's called.
yeah, it's more widespread throughout Europe than maybe it is in America, right? Because you're like one country with lots of different states. Okay, so it's more widespread in Europe, right? For example, Germany's got 3 million Turks. They're Muslims, aren't they?
Let's just forget the numbers. What I want to know from you again, Stav, what happens?
Yeah, but the numbers are relevant because it's more widespread, right? Which means you'll have more of them supporting the club, whichever club it is, whether it's Chelsea or not, right? You're going to have more of them involved in the community surrounding the club, whichever club it is, right? So it does become relevant. So it doesn't matter if they can say, the father said it, we didn't, right? The father is still a large connection to the company, right? He is influential over that company. And I don't believe that Rain, Roman, Marina, and Bruce Buck are going to find that acceptable, right? And it doesn't matter.
That's what I'm looking for, because that should automatically disqualify them as one of the potential buyers of the club. Because how are you going to explain that to the Muslim players at the club? Or how are you going to explain that to the Muslim community? It just doesn't make sense. The guy should be disqualified immediately, because there's no way to verify he's not racist. But that he's not racist or he's not Islamophobic.
You can't disqualify somebody from putting a bid in, right? Here in the UK, Richard Branson, you all know. You must know who he is, right?
Yeah, but we know that alone. If you're doing the, go ahead.
Right? He bought a lot of NHS properties on the cheap, right? He tried to buy properties in Surrey, which we mentioned yesterday, right, from Surrey NHS, and they excluded him from bidding, yeah, right? They didn't allow him to bid. And then what happened was, because they didn't allow him to bid, he sued them, right? So it's something to do with equal opportunities in business and shit like that, right? And he sued them, and he won his case in court. So you have to accept the bid, right? And then you can dismiss it. Once you've accepted it, you can dismiss it. I don't know what US legislation is.
Yeah, right? Yes. Why it's one thing? No. Let me say something now. You come to a job, for instance. I know they're probably not going to select them, even if they end up teaming up with Ken Griffin. The truth is, at a job place, the job have no right to say openly that we're rejecting you because you have a bad, you did something, you have a criminal record, it's against the law. You don't have to. But you will interview the person, even if they've stolen from 10 shops and it's showing on their resume. You will not say, okay, we're rejecting you because you've stolen from shop A, B, C, D. But you and I know no manager will hire that person. So I think we can be rest assured that their group is not gonna be picked. They're not gonna be selected no matter how much they put in, because it creates a whole lot of issues. So we don't have to even worry about it. I've thought about it. I don't think it's not something to worry about. I don't think they will be picked. If anybody decides, okay, these are the best guys to select to become the new owners of Chelsea Football Club, then that person, they don't have a brain matters in their head, because the issues that follow will be will be huge. Yeah, and Mikhail is right. This is beginning to sound like I have Muslim or black friends. That's what you get from people when they commit such offense. They try to justify their behavior by saying, but I have black friends, I have Muslim friends. No, that doesn't mean that you're not Islamophobic. Doesn't mean that you're not racist. So good addition there. We'll start looking at the comments, and then I'll let you in again to say have your input. Just hiring the minorities or having friends does not make someone not racist in itself. Yes, good argument right there. But most people think that alone shows that they're not racist. No, you could be co-worker with somebody who's a member of, a nationalist group of any sort, and then, be friends with them at work and not know. So yeah, if you have any, yes, what did you say? Coachila, never say never. What if it happens? I don't think it will happen, because there will be a lot of backlash. And the fact is, the club, the board, they do see all these things. They read all these things just like you and I do. Marina sees it, Patacek sees it, and Roman himself will be seeing all these things. And these guys will have a say. And you remember the first one we talked about during the update segment was that the government will not have a say in who becomes the new owner. No, they'll not be participating in selecting who the new owners will be, because, and again, that's huge, which means Roman will most definitely leave us in good hands. But that's by the way. Now, Mikhail says, so Ricketts is saying that Ricketts saying that he's racist, but he apologized for having said it out loud. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it means. Yeah, he's agreeing, okay, I am racist, but I'm apologizing for coming out, as racist. And so it just doesn't make sense. That the apology doesn't change anything, because if you catch a criminal, and if you're in the court trying to sentence that criminal, the criminal will always say that they're sorry, so that they can, maybe the judge will be will have mercy on them, and then tender a light sentence on them. So it just doesn't make sense. Stav, I'll leave this comment to you. Go ahead and elaborate what Mikhail just said on the screen.
Yeah, at the end of the day, right, whatever people think of Roman, however he acquired his money, whatever comes into the background, right, at the end of the day, at the club, right, he had integrity at the club, right, he was there for equal rights, equal opportunities, right, all this stuff, anti-Semitism, right, anti-Islamophobia, right, the whole club was involved in promoting genuine equal opportunity for everybody. It was the first club, right, that decided to pay a living wage, okay, which means he looks at the people who work for the club, at the community around them, right, and I cannot see Roman being happy with something like Ricketts, right, irrespective, because the thing is, the fact he's not getting any of the money either, right, means that he can make these considerations even stronger, right? He can decide on these things even more, because there's no benefit to him, right? So why would he change his when I get angry, right, I lack the words. Why would he change his beliefs and his integrity, right? When there's no benefit to him, okay? It's not like you can say, "I'll go, oh yeah, well, I forget that I'm leaving the UK."
So your argument is that there's no chance this guy will become the new Chelsea owners.
I believe not. And the thing is, right, the British government won't want that stigma either. Can you imagine them okaying that company to take over, right? And then they want to keep these relationships going with countries with Islam background, right? Like the Saudis, like Qatar, Kuwait, the Emirates, and all this, right? Right now, he's trying to basically build relationships with those countries even better, because they want to stop the use of Russian oil, because they're getting a lot of aggravation because of it. That they take oil and gas and that from Russia, right? So he's trying to cultivate those countries, right? And he doesn't care about their background or anything that they're doing or human rights, right? But what he does care is he doesn't want them to be turning around and going, "Well, hang on, you just okayed an Islamophobe owner of one of your top football clubs." And this is the whole thing with Roman as well, right? Because of the invasion, he's now being used because he's Russian, and they can't afford to be having any of this stuff. So, like I said, it's not acceptable to Roman, and I can't see. And the thing is, those people we're not allowed to use, right, are Islamophobes themselves, right? But they think about their image to the public. So they want Muslims to vote for them. Yeah, you get what I'm saying, right? So they have to think about that. Even if
they have to. And so they have to. So I think you make a great point. I think on so many levels, I think there are some coming to light. People knowing about it. It has created some obstacle that they're not going to be able to navigate and eventually become Chelsea owners. It is too much of a risk. It is too risky for the politicians themselves. It is too risky for the club as a whole. And like you've established, Roman will not risk it. He's got nothing to gain from the sale. So his priority will be not to leave it in the hands of those that fans will be disgruntled, and nobody will be happy. But that's, by the way, I want to welcome Nick.
And legally, they have to be allowed to put the bid
but
in.
they're not going to say it. I think I've used an example.
Yeah.
I've worked at places where I'm involved in hiring others. And even if you don't want to hire anybody, you don't say it, because legally you're not allowed to come and say you're not hiring. If you have a criminal record, please don't apply. For instance, you can't do that. You take every applicant, you interview them, even the worst of them, but you're not going to take them. But that's, by the way. Now, I want to welcome Nick Blue to the panel. Nick, always good to see you, to have you around. Nick, tell us your thoughts. By the way, first of all, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, big up to Stav and yourself, everyone in the channel, Street Bear, and the rest of you. I know you're all there. I want to. You're talking about the potential owners again, are you?
Yeah, we're talking about the potential owners, the one specifically where the Chelsea fans have issues with, given their, you can say, Islamophobic history or racist history, if you prefer, however you want to see it.
Yes, I see it the same. We don't want this, what's his name? Ricketts, Bailey, and all these we don't want them. You know who I want? Saudi Arabia or Nick Candy. It's a lot. But, tomorrow is a big day. Tomorrow's a big day because they've got to make official bids. There's, it's about 200, 300 bids already. But what's his name? Abramovich's agent will choose which ones, with Abramovich, which ones he wants to choose and take it to the government.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things during the update segment we talked about. We're lucky that Roman will still have a hand in choosing who the new owner will be. And I just want to say thank you to Just Viola, who just sent me an update on Twitter that we'll look at later. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah. I just want to say it's a big day tomorrow. It's a chance tomorrow for You know, it's Peter Bennett's Memorial Day tomorrow at 2:15, and that lasts to 3:15. I've been posting on Twitter for all the real Chelsea fans to come up there. You know, if they come, they can't get tickets for the memorial now because it's too late. I got one early on, but you know, they should all come up there. And after the memorial, I'm going to be there. Even if it's just me, I'll be there at Stamford Bridge from 3:30 to as long as it takes to get my point across. So I'm just hoping some fans will join me.
Yeah, and this is thank you very much for that input there, Nick. This is a comment that makes sense also. Roman is a Jew himself. He will never sell to Ricketts family. That makes perfect sense because every Jew that you've dealt with before will hate the slightest. The moment they say the slightest of that is a bit of racism from any individual or any sort of discrimination, they don't like it.
Can I say one more thing to Stav?
Yes.
Stav, if you want, I'll send you a ticket or you can come down tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, Stav, you find a way to communicate that with him. So let's go ahead now. We're talking about true. I'm not sure what the Queen herself, Street Beer, is referring to, but I'll find out. Tobago says, today I don't want to stress too much. We see tomorrow what will happen. Have a clear idea who's our new owner and do my research. Exactly. I try not to stress myself, but you cannot help but it will happen because if you really love Chelsea Football Club, the whole situation is worrying. The whole situation is stressful, and you can't help but find yourself in that kind of mode. Let's see if we'll have something else to talk about here. If not, I'll talk about it.
1 minute, Coach.
Yeah.
1 minute,
Nick,
Coach,
you still call
before I forget. You know,
Nick, you're still calling me Couch.
It's so frustrating. You know, if we can't, we're not going to, go and we'll show Roman Abramovich's name. You know, that's not the problem. But it's about the sanctions. We can't buy tickets. We can't go to the European games. We can't go nowhere after yesterday was the last day for fans to be at the match. So we have to have a say. We can't just let it go. That's what I'm saying. I'm really up for this, and I'll be there with my banner and scarf, whatever. So, just join me, Chelsea fans, if you're a Chelsea fan.
Yeah. Again, I saw what's this comment by Street Beer. I like the part where it says, "I've lived all my life, spent all my existence not caring about color." Yes, that makes sense. With a color doesn't mean anything. It's important to start looking beyond the color of the skin of our fellow human beings and treat everyone the same. That will make a whole lot of difference in the world that we live in. Government said they are allied, with Saudis, and they already gave green light for Saudis media to buy us, to buy Chelsea Football Club. Is this possible, Staff, for the government to openly say?
No, look, let's listen.
Yeah.
Right? Let's get things in. You know that I like to have things in context, right? Let's get something in context, right? I said already today, right, when we started, that he who we are not allowed to mention is in the Middle East, right? He's in the Middle East, right? And he's gone there for reasons that he's hoping that he can get a special deal for oil, right? Which will allow him to sell the petrol cheaper, right? That's all he's thinking about at the moment. And he's gone there, he's going to Qatar, he's going to the Emirates, and now he's even going to go to Iran, right? He's going to Iran because, and the other thing is, just so I can make.
Okay, let's keep it strictly to where we are, because people are going to get confused. People are going to get confused.
Listen, right? All he was doing was preparing for going to those countries, okay? Right? He publicly said that we have a close link to these countries, whatever, right? That's all he cares about. That's all he cares about. So what the media
So
have
now
done,
you arguing,
the
are you
media-
arguing that alone, his interest in that country in question, means that
the media
that will
the
influence
media.
that decision?
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is, he's only talking about them because he wanted to soften them up before he went there, and then the British media have taken that what he said, and they've twisted it into a sports story by saying this now makes the Saudi media bid
Exactly.
more possible, right?
That's
So
my point, because if you ask me, it doesn't make sense, because we already established that they will have no hand in selecting who the new owners will be.
What he said has nothing to do with the Saudi media making the bid, right? And it's just the British media have taken it and said, oh, well, that's all right then, because if the Saudis put their bid in, that gives them a better chance and all that. So basically, by making his comments, he's dismissed any chance of him objecting to the Saudi media putting a bid in, right? But that's not how he meant it. But that's how the British media are taking it, right? And that's why I explained to you. The reason I tried to bring Iran into it, right, is that there's been conflict between the two countries for a long time, but his need for oil makes him now go there. And they've paid 400 million, which they owed him for missiles.
So quickly, Stav, what's your argument here? What's your argument here?
So
we can move on. We have a lot to talk about. Yes.
My argument here is what he said isn't really related to.
It will not in any way influence the whole process.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with that. It's just the British
exactly. That's exactly what I want to say. And again, it's common sense to think about it. They say the government will not have a hand on who buys in selecting who the new owner will be, but they will have a hand probably in vetting the new owner. So that's just that. So, but that's, by the way,
let's see. To get clicks. Right?
Yeah.
For the sports media, it sells newspapers and it gets clicks, right? And Twitter responses and retweets and all that stuff. That's all it's about. But in relation to him, he's not actually saying, yeah, we would prefer that one to be the chosen one, right? He was laying the groundwork for his trip over there, and they've now paid that 400 million, which shows how desperate he is to stay connected to the Middle East. That's why I mentioned it, right? And in turn, they've released 2 British Iranians that were been in jail for 6 years. Women.
So let's just move on from those guys.
So it's not relevant. So it's not relevant.
It's not. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Here, Frezzo says Rainy Group will pick the best owner, not cause of money, but make sure all conditions are met. Ricketts family is not going to do it. Yes, exactly. And let us know if you're in the chat whether you think the Ricketts family will be able to bite Chelsea, even if they get other people to join their group. For me, I'd say no. I don't think that will happen. And I want to say big up to my brother and a fellow content creator, Ankit from Almighty Blues FC. And if you haven't, please do go and check out his channel. Great channel he has there. And Tobago says, hope it's true that Roman have a final say. Yeah, he still does. That's why probably what's his name? UEFA. That's why they are able to sanction the man, because he's still the owner of the club. They cannot sanction, restrict the club from doing anything if Roman isn't still the owner, because they cannot justify it. Even now, what they did is not justifiable. But I'm just explaining something to you. Let's see here, Fraser, Seth Iweka, nice to see you back here. Mikhail, please explain and suggest appropriate adjective. Okay, that's not, that's between the people in the chat. Romana has final say who is the owner, but he cannot take the money. Yeah, according to the government. Thank you again for reaffirming that. Come on, yeah, 17 people watching. Yeah, we should have at least around 17 likes. Thank you very much for saying that. We hope we get decent owners that mean we will and have ability to do well for Chelsea FC in years and decades to come. Yes, we don't want owners who only profit focused and don't care about the club's success. government want to make sure the money doesn't go to Roman Abramovich. That's probably why they stepped in. Coachila and stress already. I know I'm stressed too. I hardly do things correctly these days given the situation. It breaks my heart every day, and it looks like it's getting worse. The sanctions will be lifted as soon as new owners have applied. Oh, that's good to see. So it's not until the sale is completed. Thank you for that information, Frizo. I
Where's that
appreciate
come
you.
from? Where's that come from?
Sorry?
Where's you got that information from?
I'm not sure, but I'll keep going. But I'll do a research on that. That's
I
it
would
at the
debate.
start.
I would
Okay.
debate that. I would debate that. Right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Because the owner has to be checked first. So finding someone and accepting someone's bid doesn't end the whole situation. You have to pass the tests and all that from the EPL. Now the EPL will try rushing things because they obviously don't want the stigma of that's going on at the moment. And to be fair to the EPL and the FA, they're both in conversation with the government, along with Chelsea, about changing the license. Right now, the license can change whether we get another owner or not if common sense prevails. Right, as long as the club proves the money's not going to Roman, there's no valid reason for all these sanctions. Right, we should be able to sell tickets. We should be able to sell merchandise and stuff like that, right? And as I said earlier on, it's all down to the ineptitude of the people who are running the license, right? And they're not having the common sense or the knowledge of sport or football, right? But the license will still stay there, right, until the owner is fully in situ, right? So they've got the club and they're the full owner and all the checks are being done. But the license can be changed and adapted, right? So once we've got a new owner's been presented, they may then decide, right, we can allow them to sell tickets or merchandise, okay? So for one thing, right, if you want the merchandise...
So your overall argument is that it's not possible until what happens?
Well, it's got to be it's officially got to be the owner.
Okay.
Right?
Now I understand. And thank you for explaining that. Yeah, it has to be argued.
He can't pay the money until he's officially the owner.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, Sasuke Uchila. I hope I say your name correctly. If not, let me know. I don't want to murder your name. He says, worst case scenario, what will we as Chelsea fans do if a racist American owner buy our great club? Well, I think we've done the analysis here. I don't think they will get a chance to buy it, given that Roman still has a say in who buys the club, and given the politicians wouldn't want to, have to navigate the problem of I voted for you and you sold my club to somebody who is Islamophobic, to somebody who's racist, so it doesn't make sense. And with that, I want to say welcome to the panel, to Showtime. Showtime, how have you been? I've missed you for a while, bro, and but welcome back.
Hey, good morning, brother. How you doing?
I can't complain, man. But even though I have a lot to complain about, it's not in my nature to complain. I'll deal with it. So, Showtime, let me ask you this question before we progress, because soon we'll be switching to a different topic altogether. What do you think? What's your thought on the possibility of the Ricketts family buying Chelsea Football Club?
I don't even, for me, my focus has been mainly on give us the oil money. I want the Saudis in. I don't want nobody else. I don't want no British man. I don't want no American broke. I want the Saudi money. I want the oil money. To be honest, that's gonna perplex us into moving and forward and progressing this club with money. We need money. We don't need uh, a, a, a British man to come in and try to make revenue, or American to come in and try to make revenue. We need the oil money so we can buy players, sell players, get the deadwood off the books, buy players, build a brand, build up the club in a way that we can take it to next level. We can overrun the monies that City has spent, because they spent about £1 billion on players already. I don't think we even spend any close to that. I mean, if we want to compete for the Premier League title, we have to spend money, and I don't think the Americans have the money to spend, nor do I think the British people have the money to spend.
Here's one thing. I know how much you love the club, but I'm not gonna. I love you, bro, but I'm not gonna let your calming voice make me succumb to what I have to say to you now. New owners have a problem at hand, and if you let's assume you're the new owner, and you're buying Chelsea Football Club, you're buying a club that had a loss of around 150 million plus this past year. Wouldn't you say your first priority will be for the club to break even first before you start talking about spending more? And you must remember that the financial fair play rules have been, tightened even more. There's going to be salary cap, and there are limits to how much you can spend. And if you spend beyond a certain amount, you pay what's called a luxury tax. So I don't really think how much the person has is relevant at this point. I think what we should be concerned about are people who really care about the club, who, like, we have people, that are long-term fans of the club. What I just explained to you are Showtime.
I hear what you're saying, but we're speaking here on longevity. A new owner comes in, we're expecting him to have the 10-year or even longer than Abramovich had. The sad fact that Abramovich is being scapegoated for this conflict that's going on.
And thank you for saying that.
We have to sell quickly. The UK government should actually honor Abramovich for what he has done. But now they want him to bring in a new owner, and he has to say, in this world, a billionaire being sanctioned by a government and then being told where I can't make money off the club that I own for 20 years, nor can I the only thing I have is a say who can buy. So it says a lot. At the end of the day, he has the final say on who he wants the club to go to. And now that he's being scapegoated, you think he isn't upset that he can't make a profit off of his own club, off of his own hard work and sweat, his money? He written off £1.5 billion. So whoever is coming in as an owner has to understand that 150 million that you speak of in loss is little to what Abramovich is losing. Is little to what we have made in the previous years. We have to. The loss is nothing compared to what other clubs have lost, and we've made more because we have won the Champions League. We have won the World Cup. We have won the World Club Cup. Excuse me. And we have continued to prove that we are a top flight club. But whoever comes in now has to understand that we want to compete not only for the Champions League, not only for the FA Cup, not only for the Continental Cup, but we also want to compete for the Premier League. We have the ability to, and we need the money to go out there and buy who we want, get who we want, keep Tuchel happy.
Yes, I need you to come in there.
All right, look.
Thank you for that input, Showtime. Go ahead, Stav, quickly.
All right, let's get over this thing, right? Let's get on top of things, right? Until coming up to 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, right? Roman had a long-term plan, yeah. This 1.5 billion, which people keep getting over frustrated about or keep talking about, for Roman, right, it was a joy, okay? It was something that gave him enjoyment, right? The 1.5 billion isn't relevant to Roman either, because he was never going to ever get that back or call it in unless he sold the club freely of his own free will, right? And it was if he sells it for 3 billion, he's made his 1.5 billion forgetting thing, and he gets his money back. But that was never the issue with Roman. Yeah. Now we can't just keep talking about and ignoring FFP. Man City got away with it on a technicality, right? Those technicalities have now been closed by UEFA, right? And UEFA had talks with the EU, they had talks with employment legislators throughout Europe, right, to close all the loopholes. So now they've decided that if you want to spend more money, right, the wage cap will be somewhere between 65 and 70% of your total income, right? Right now, some clubs spend their total income on virtually the wage, right? Now, the wage cap's going to be that. And then, as Coachila said, right, you will be able to spend more money. Okay, like Newcastle will be able to spend more money, whatever's in their pocket. But every time they do that, you're going to have to pay twice the amount of money. So if you go out and spend 200 million, right, on players, and you go over the limit, right, of your expenditure, it's still based on your income, not the owner's money. It's based on the income, how they decide how much you can spend without getting the luxury tax. So when you spend over the top of that income, you know, your full percentage, your full income from the previous season, when you go over that, if you spend 200 million, right, and it's 200 million's over what your natural income is, your generated income, you're going to have to spend you have to pay 400 million, right, in luxury tax. So it's an additional 200 million luxury tax alone, right? And then if you continue to do that for 2 to 3 seasons, you will be expelled from the UEFA competitions for 2 years. So then it doesn't, the whole point is that they're making it harder for you to spend the money, and they've made it easier for them to expel you. And once you're expelled, you're going to have to think about, right, Chelsea made 115 million from winning the Champions League, right? And add down the Super Cup as well, because that's all interlinked, right? And that includes TV money. English clubs are lucky because the biggest TV deal from the all the way around the world for UEFA football is BT Sport, right? So there's more money available for TV rights from that BT Sport. So you tend to, if you win it, English clubs will tend to make more money, right, than any other country, right? Now, you can't afford to lose that, right? You can't afford to lose that. You then, if you're expelled from UEFA competitions, right, the brand then suffers, right, because your brand is then not being successful within the UEFA competitions. You can't get into the Club World Cup, all these things, right? So you have to take into fact. So let's not get too carried away with we want the oil money, right? Because there will be restrictions on the oil money. What we want is somebody who's going to come in, love the club as much as Roman did, look after the club, right? And at the end of the day, you will still have to sell players, right, to buy, okay? So Man City sold their prized possession, who was playing up front as a false 9, to Barcelona so that they can now go and buy someone. Man City bought Grealish by selling 2 players the previous season. So let's get over this. We want the oil money. I want somebody who has an interest or a love or a support for Chelsea, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's cut it short because we have a lot to talk. We have a lot more to talk about, and we just have a few minutes to get to them all. So if you get the point now, Showtime, that how rich the owner isn't really a factor now that will be helpful to us. And I've been scared of this all the time. That I even hosted a show called "Good Players Doesn't Have to Be Expensive," where we talked about what if tomorrow something changes. I think that's a few months ago, actually. What if we change ownership and the new owner is profits focused? Then we have a problem because we're all spoiled. We've gotten used to getting what we want because the owner, we remind as the owner, to him, it's just he likes the club. He just wants to achieve success. To him, it's not about profit. And now we're seeing that's the likelihood of change coming, changing in terms of culture, change in terms of how we spend. We're not going to be going out there spending money because we can. We must be, calculated. That's our spending must be well calculated. Do you have anything to say, Tobago, before I go to Nick Blue to get his say, then we switch to the next topic? Showtime, you have anything to say?
Yeah, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this.
Mhm.
Let me just say this. Look, if Roman ends up selling this club to a British or an American broke, you know he didn't have this say. You know his hands was forced.
Mhm.
History doesn't repeat it. If history repeats itself, we already seen what the American owners have done to other clubs in the league. We already see what British owners have done to the clubs that are already in the league. Why would we want history to repeat itself here? You go out
But
and you
can we be a bit factual here? I know. Are you referring to Manchester United when you're talking about how what they've done to other clubs?
that small club in Arsenal. I'm talking about their owners. They're more profit based. They are. If you want to talk about owners that are profit based, you're talking about the British owners. You're talking about the Americans. The Saudis, they come in for because they want to win. They don't want their focus is winning. It's not about
But
the
you
money.
must remember, we're talking about a private entity that's profit based too.
Yeah, I mean, but come on now. There's no. We're not gonna get one owner anymore. We have custodians now. Is everything in the news is about custodians, people coming together about forming one entity to buy this. The Saudi, it's an engineer holding. Look at this company right here. This company right here from the Saudis media is the best bet for us. The British and Americans, they don't. If Roman sells to them, you know that the British government had something to do with that.
Yeah, and let me say this
And
to
they're
you,
not
brother.
pleased.
Do I have a choice? Yes, I have a choice, and my choice are the Saudis. But we're just trying to analyze things and just to make it clear that how much they have, it's really irrelevant at this point. We should be prioritizing who cares about the club, and I think they care more about the club. Nick Candy does, but after some research, I'm thinking that interview or with Nick Candy in front of him entering the stadium, I think he was staged. They knew he was going to come there. They waited
Staged,
for him to interview him. Uh, yeah.
staged.
So
Look. The British government knows what they're doing here.
yeah, they
These
do know.
sanctions is not
Hmm.
for the sanctions of is to hurt us. It's not to make us better. All these sanctions that they brought upon us is not helping us. They know what they're doing. They want
Hmm.
Roman to sell as fast as possible. And if I'm Roman, to be respectful, I love Chelsea Football Club, and if I'm Roman, since the UK government has put these sanctions on me, I'm going to take my sweet time to sell. You're forcing me, and I'm not making
Yeah,
any
but
profit.
that hurts the club even more
British,
and could cause
look, but British,
a
look,
lot more
but
damage.
look,
Hmm.
it makes the British government look bad. It doesn't make him look bad at all. You're
Yeah,
forcing
but do you think they
British,
really care?
and do you think he really cares?
And that's the thing. Nobody cares. But I think I get your point, brother. But we're glad that he's now thinking about taking his time because it would do more damage, more harm to the club than even the restrictions will. But I get your argument.
Can
Nick Blue, do you have anything to say so we can switch to the
Yeah,
next topic? We're 19 minutes past the hour.
yeah,
It's noon already in the UK, and this is supposed to be a morning show. Go ahead.
yeah. I have a lot to say, but I won't say a lot because I know
Mhm.
there's to talk about. Yeah, look, I agree with Showtime quite a lot. I prefer the Saudis. I said it from the beginning, and always, I think they're the best bet for us. Nick Candy, all right. The problem with Nick Candy, like we keep saying, is his group. They're going to say they have to get together and make decisions. And Nick Candy ain't going to make the final decision. But this Saudi, this Chelsea supporter, what's his name? Hahali, whatever. He's a Chelsea fan. Then he will have the interest for Chelsea. Plus, it's good for them. They're going to want to do well for the club. because it will show their brand in the Arab world and make their name bigger. So I think they have good intentions for Chelsea, not like these Ricketts and all the others. I wouldn't trust them. And
Big up Nick Blue. I didn't even know you was on the stream, brother.
yeah, so that's the main thing. And we have to let's see who's going to officially, the bid. But tomorrow, who's official bids? They have to do it tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we've lost Nick there. So let's go over to we still have, there are some comments that I'd like us to address, but we'll take it one by one. Let's start from here. You remember when we talked about the statement from the Saudis, or the statement that is the article on gold.com, which states that the Saudis, they do not have, that's the Saudi media group, that they don't have direct ties with the Saudi government. And Astab, if you remember, I said that statement to me sounds a bit shady, because it did not specifically say that the Saudi media group doesn't have any ties with the Saudi government. And you also said something, it's very difficult because they are subsidized. Most of them are subsidized by the government. Now, look at this comment here, and thanks to Just Viola for sharing these from PYS. I don't know, Pete, I don't know how you pronounce his name. I don't want to sound like I'm saying something else. He says a Saudi media parent company is Engineer Holding, then another parent company called MBS, which has some involvement. So if you follow the money around, there's a slight government involvement. From what I understand, it's not enough to block it.
Anyway. The
yes,
relatives, the relatives anyway. They're related, right? The guy who's leading the Chelsea fan, right? Yeah. His family, right, are relatives of the royals, right? And they're all connected, right, in one way or the other. But like I said, it's not really, for me, it's not that big an issue, because once they allowed Newcastle in, right, it ceases to be an issue. And obviously because of the reliance on oil and reliance on getting 3-4 billion a year for weapons and stuff, right, isn't going to make that an issue. It's not going to become an issue. It's not a relevant issue, right? And at the end of the day, the bigger relevance is what you said, financial fair play, right? And at some point, if we keep spending and make ridiculous spending, right, it doesn't matter whatever happens. We're going to have to sell players to buy players, right?
Can you bring it to this? I understand your point, Steph. Can you bring it to this comment on the screen regarding the Saudi or the ties to the government?
Well, I've just said,
will eventually become an issue.
Related. I said they're all related anyway. The relatives, like his family, are related to the royal family. Yeah, they're like cousins or whatever. Like the head of the family, the guy's family is related to the crown princes. They're all related, right? They're like cousins and uncles and stuff like that. So there is a connection, but the companies themselves are separate, right? The company isn't related to the media company, because the sports company that's run by the government, but then they're receiving subsidies from the government. So it's all interlinked and it's all related, but it's not an issue because it's not an issue with the British government. So that's not going to be a problem. I don't see that as being a problem. And yet, realistically, they are possibly the best bid, right? But to dismiss, right, like the Glazers, I said it yesterday and I'll repeat it again now so people realise. The Glazers use banking funds to buy the club. They pay the banking charges, okay? They put money into the team, right? And they still make a profit, because Man United will always make massive amount of money, right? Because of the size of the stadium and the worldwide fan base. So it's still a cash cow, right? Whatever way you look at it. The reason Man United have had no success is because they're coming off the back of Alex Ferguson, and anybody who takes over that job is on a hiding to nothing. The squad is full of idiots, right? That's the only way I can describe them, right? They're idiots. They don't think to go out on the pitch, right? And they've got to perform. They're getting their good money. They're happy to take the money. And it's the same situation that happened with us, Jose Mourinho, second time around. Some of those players were not giving what they had to give, right? It was all blamed on Jose, right? And the modern day footballer, right, needs a manager like Tuchel who's going to coax their egos, get the best out of them, right? And also with Man United, the guy who was up top, the CEO, I forget his name now, right? Because he wasn't doing things properly, right? Joking apart, forget how bad Maguire is, right? For an example, forget how bad he is. Jose Mourinho wanted Maguire. The guy said, no, you're not getting him. Jose gets sacked the following season. He goes and buys Maguire for Solskjaer.
Please bring it to this issue we have on the screen here.
Yeah, but the issue is, let's not. I've told you already, right? If you're talking about the Saudis, it's not an issue because it's not an issue with the British government. So it's not an issue. Yes,
okay,
there is
fine.
a connection.
Fine, and that brings me, Nick. Do you want to add anything before? I think we need to talk about this comment by Matt Bowles that's on the screen. I need to say something to him. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah. It's like Gustav said. You know, we shouldn't have any problems with the Saudis. There shouldn't be any problem. You know, the government can't say no. If Roman accepts, and they can't say no. They can't, you know, that will go against them, so they can't do that.
Yeah, and my thing is, the UK government wants to have good ties with the Saudi government. They want to cut off the Russians with oil, so this is how they're gonna get closer to them. Give the Saudis what they want. The UK government knows what they're doing. If they're smart, if Boris Johnson is smart, he will let the Saudis buy the club.
Otherwise, you know, if they're trying to do something funny, they're going to lose a lot of votes. They won't get back in power, and Johnson will be gone. So, you know, they have to really think about it, because it will backfire on them if they try to do something dodgy.
Yeah, it's not an issue.
Let me say something. Go ahead.
But it's not an issue, right? But can we please get out of this mindset, right, that they're mega rich and that's going to change things automatically?
It's not a mindset. They are mega rich.
It doesn't matter. You can't spend that money. Why won't that thing to the people?
Where there's a will, there's a way. You saw what Newcastle did when
there's a will, there's a way. What did Newcastle do? Because of my cash
money.
Listen.
Let me ask you, short time. What's the way? What's the way to spend it? If you know, tell us.
There's a way. You get rid of the dead wood and you bring in the players Tuchel wants. Simple as that. We already have our targets.
So what you said, the money still isn't coming from the pocket of the owners.
They're gonna invest in the club, build a new. They're gonna have a plan to develop the bridge, develop our women's and our academy. It's already set. The money's gonna go back into the club. They have to generate money into the club to sustain
there
it.
Are ways, there are ways to navigate it, but it's not easy. And you must remember, I think we all need to go.
It's nothing to do. It's nothing to do with their billions,
of the new owners. Let me say something here. I think we need to also encourage every Chelsea fan to go. That is, every Chelsea fan to go research the new FFP rule. It's been tightened. It's tighter than it's ever been before. You cannot just get away with reckless. I'm not saying we're spending recklessly. You must account for every. That is, I don't know how else to phrase it, but that's another topic for another day. Now, I want to say something about this coming from Matt Bowles that's on the screen. It says Saudi owners cannot come in for the sake of Chelsea women and the dynasty we have created. Here's the issue. I think the women's rights issue isn't. I think it's not an issue anymore in Saudi Arabia. I think they had to sort it out because
wrong.
He was. Sorry.
I said, I agree. That comment is really.
It's not a big issue anymore in Saudi Arabia. They had to take care of that. Yeah, I'm
Coachila,
coming.
hang on a minute. Right, it is still a big issue. Right, all the changes they've made towards women's rights and that are cosmetic. Right, it was only yesterday, right, and this is in the English media if you search for it. It's only yesterday that a woman who was accused, right, of being an adulteress was beheaded while she was walking across a zebra crossing. Right, it is an issue. With
No,
But this is not
that
that.
has
But
nothing
that
to
but
do.
wasn't
it's
done
not
by
an
the
issue.
government.
Yeah, but it's not
That's
an
religious
issue.
law. It's two different things. You can't.
No. We're not going to make it. Let me say something here. What you explained is horrible. I must say that it shouldn't happen to anybody, no matter what you did. The fact remains, what you explained seemed like she was working. I don't think if the government wants to, the Saudi government, if they want to execute somebody, they get the person. They go through
the point is that somebody did
It's
it.
not. Yes, what? Yeah,
Probably.
exactly. Somebody
Yeah,
Yeah,
was in the
but
government.
you're speaking on
But let me.
situations
Can
that
I say
Somebody did
something?
it.
Can I
Somebody
say
did
something?
it.
Yes.
Yeah, somebody did it, right? Probably from a family, but they ain't going to be touched because, as far as the government's concerned, right, they were justified in doing it. Okay.
Here's what I want to
But
say here.
it doesn't affect
Here's what I want to
women's
say now.
team.
Here's what I want to say here. Now, even like you phrased it, the changes are cosmetics, right? Cosmetic, like you said. Even at that, it's an improvement to what it was before. It's a huge improvement to what it was before. Women can
Yeah.
drive now in Saudi Arabia, aren't they?
It's not gonna affect the women's team. It has nothing to do with the
Yeah, I'm
women's
coming.
team.
That's why I'm talking about the comment. And the comment here, I think Matt Bolt's concern has to do with the women's team. And the truth is, the company in question, the Saudi Media Group, they employ a lot of women. They have women in their boards, which is in the board level, and which is they're one of those that pioneered, the change that ushered in that is the need to bring in more women in higher offices in Saudi Arabia. That's in their record, and if you check it, you will see that. So I don't think that will be an issue. Maybe Matt knows something that we hear that we don't know here, but I can assure you that will not be an issue.
Taliban, like the Taliban, what they're doing, this is completely different. People get it mixed up. All Arabs are not the same, The Taliban, they don't let women do nothing. They're not allowed to go to school.
So let me ask this question. Yeah, Stav, go ahead. You wanted to say something, Showtime.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this, like you just said, to piggyback off you. If the media group employs a lot of women on their board, that's good for us. That means Marina Granovskaya gets to be the director of the football. She gets to keep her position.
If they want, it's up to them.
If she wants
something
it.
that we want. I don't know about you, but
we want that. I know Stav wants that, but the fact is, will she stay?
She will stay.
No, it's difficult to say. You know why? You know why it's difficult to say whether Marina will stay or not? She's worked for Roman since immediately after her graduation. She started working for.
Where's she gonna go? Where's she gonna go?
Yeah, if Roman needs her somewhere else, she leaves immediately.
You think Roman's gonna need her somewhere else?
Listen, but the short thing is this: Roman would want her to stay and help with the transition period from the Roman Empire to the new owner. That's for sure.
We're expecting too much. No one knows what Marina's going to do Showtime, or if she goes with Roman, or no one knows. She knows, and the new owners.
She already released a statement that she's not staying, right? 2 weeks ago, right? Straight after
I don't think that's true. You never hear Marina in the media. I don't think that is true.
She released an official statement.
It didn't come from the club.
Okay, can I ask this? Was that on the club's website?
No, it was not on the club's website. It was not.
Right, so somebody just went and printed an official statement from Marina, right?
When has Marina ever come out with official statements? That hasn't come through the club.
She made an official statement that she would not be remaining after Roman leaves. Now, if Roman tells her that I would like you to stay, right, and handle the handover, right, initial period, that's different. But she made an official statement, right? Google it then, right?
Is it on the Chelsea website? I saw it. It's not proven. It's not facts from the Chelsea website.
Does it have to be on the Chelsea website
Yes,
for
it
there to make an
does.
official statement? No,
It's
it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it
Marina
doesn't.
has no social media. How would you say that it's coming from Marina Granskaya if it's not
It
official
doesn't
from the
make an
club?
official statement to the
That is a
media.
fake. Yeah, no, she doesn't go to the media. When has
Okay,
Marina?
stop.
Oh,
Can I
dear
ask this?
me.
Can I ask this? Can I ask this? Stop. Where did you see the statement? Let's be objective here.
And she made an official statement to the British media.
Was it on the club's website?
And why does it have to be on the club website?
It's
I
not
must have-
official if it doesn't come from the club.
I haven't seen a statement, Steph. I don't know about that. You know, if it's
Right, okay.
she made a
Right, it's fake. It's fake. Go on, carry on. It's fake.
Okay. Let me see. I think I could do more research, a little research about it. It takes just a minute. Now, Victor Akinola, my Niger brother, welcome to the channel, and I hope you've subscribed already. If not, please do. And also, if you're watching, please do smash that like button to help us reach more people. Let's see here this comment. I think it's a good one. Guys, we all want our best for Chelsea FC. That is the truth. And okay, let me start. Let's round off by asking and answering this question. The question is, I'll start with you, Nick Blue. What type of owner should we be praying for? You know, for those of us that pray, that believe in a higher power, what type of owner should we be praying for, you know, to make sure the club, remains a successful, remains a force to be reckoned with all over Europe and globally, because we've established that we're a global force by winning the Club World Cup. So what type of owner should we be looking for?
We should be looking for someone like Roman Abramovich. We can't get, no one's going to replace him. We can't get the same. I don't think it's more or less impossible to get another Roman Abramovich. But if it's, I'm hoping this Saudi group, what they keep saying, they want to do well for the club. And, they really like Chelsea. They want to make Chelsea bigger in the world, bigger brand in the world, everything. I hope it's them. Like I keep saying it, but if there's anyone else, it's not going to be good for us. It won't be good because they won't do what Roman has done. And, I hope Roman would choose, I hope he chooses correctly. I'm sure I trust him to choose the right owner. That's all I can say, really. And we want the owners to run Chelsea like Roman did, and maybe better even. Make us go after City, come on top of City, and we'll be the number one team winning the Premiership every year, if not every year, every 2-3 years, every 2 years, not every 3. And so we show this Liverpool scum that what we are about. But there'll be so many bad comments from these ex-players of theirs. Like, I want to mention Carragher. We didn't mention it the other day. But what he said, it's disgusting.
We'll come to that. We'll come to Carragher's statement. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Let's finish with Showtime. What type of owner should we be praying for those of us that believe in higher powers? I'll come back to you, Nick.
We're in the time of we're not gonna see another owner like Roman Abramovich, club first, revenue second type of owner. What I want is an owner that's gonna put money into the club, and not just from the men's team, but from the bridge standpoint, from developing and bringing this club forward. Change is good, but change that's good should be limited. If we get a new owner, you do not fire the people that works the day to day, such as the likes of Marina Granskaya. You make sure she stays at least for a year or two under the new regime so they can get used to what goes on. I don't care if Bruce Buck goes. I think his time is up. He needs to retire with Roman Abramovich. And I think the change that is coming is only going to be better if we don't change the staff that is available to us, the likes of Peter Cech, the likes of Marina, the likes of those who are there daily that knows the club in and out for the past 20 years. For us, we need a sporting director. That was Roma's next move. If we get a new owner, just continue the blueprint of what is set forward for you. Don't come in and try to make an impact so quickly. Take your time. Understand what the day to day is. Understand who are the people that's working for the club on a consistent basis. Bring us more cups. We want to win. We don't want you to come here and think you're gonna make money off of us. We just want to win. So we
All
need a
right, a
community.
follow-up question for you. I know, I understand. I feel like that too. We want an owner who will, prioritize the club's success and then make profit secondary, but that's virtually practically impossible. I hope I'm wrong. But let me ask you this question now. Would you say that Roman Abramovich he's done everything right at Chelsea? Are there anything, or is there any single thing you'd like the new owner to change?
For me, look, I'm gonna be clear. I know Abramovich era Chelsea. Any other Chelsea, I don't know. I only read about. What I've seen with my own eyes is Abramovich era Chelsea. And in my eyes, Abramovich did nothing wrong to us. We have brought in some players.
No, I'm not talking about wrongdoing.
No,
The fact is, as human beings, you can never be. As a human being, you can never
it's
be
not
perfect.
perfect. Look, what he does
Exactly. In
outside,
terms of running the club,
yeah.
is there any single thing, or are there things you think the new owners or new owner must change to do better? Because for me, I don't just want anybody like Roman Abramovich. I want somebody that can do better than Roman Abramovich, and I have my reasons. I have my reason because it's a
Look,
single reason for me. So, how about you? Anything?
yeah, for me, it's more so, look, are we going to get better than Abramovich? No, I don't think we can, because whoever is coming in as the owner is going to have to answer to somebody. Abramovich had nobody to answer to but himself. So for me, he can't get better than that. He's one own. Abramovich is one. He had nobody to answer to. The new owners that's coming in is going to have a group of people they have to answer to. That is the key problem right there. That was where the problem is going to stem from, and it's going to have an impact on what is set to go on each year, each summer. How it's going to impact our men's team, our academy, our women's team, the development of the bridge. It's going to have a impact. So for us, we have to be. That's why I say, like, if you come in as a new owner, understand that you should take your time before you try to make changes to what's going on, because you trying to implement changes right away is going to have an effect and will affect the club going forward.
Okay, that's the point. Nick, coming to you, Nick. We love Roman.
Yeah.
I love Roman. We all love him. I even on the show, I cried the day that he released a statement. But the truth is, nobody is perfect. And I'm not saying in terms of wrongdoing, in terms of the way the club was run. Do you think there's anything the new owners? Is there anything that comes to mind the new owners must do differently to do better than Roman Abramovich?
I can't blame Roman for anything. He done his best. He was going to do even better, as we all know. He made the plans for the new bridge. He had it already. Plans were approved, but they froze him out. The government, froze him out. They banned him from England, and that was a very bad thing for us. But I hope that these new owners, the first priority is Stamford Bridge, because it's very important to raise the capacity. It's only 40,000 right now. That's not enough. We can't get tickets, most of us. We get them once in a blue moon, members, season ticket holders. You have to be rich to buy them tickets. I'm one of those who's not, like before, in the old days, I never missed a Chelsea game in my life. And it saddens me now that I can't buy a ticket, even if I'm a member. I can't get a ticket because they go so quick, and you just have to be, it's all luck. You go in the queue system. If you're there, if it comes, it comes. So we need to get that capacity to 60, even 70, but 60. That's the main priority. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that input. Stab, coming to you. I know you love Roman. We both love Roman. I've seen you on the verge of tears, probably because your camera is sitting. I didn't see the tears come down your face. I know you were heartbroken as the whole situation started unfolding. The question for you is this: nobody is perfect. I'm not talking about morality here. I'm talking about the way the club was run during. You can say he's still there, the way he runs the club. So let me phrase it like that. Is there anything, any single thing, or is there things you think? Are there things you think the new owners or the new owner must do differently to do better than Roman Abramovich? And if you're in the chat, please let us know if there's anything or the things you think the new owners or the new owner must do differently to do better than Roman Abramovich. Go ahead, Stav.
Well, I know what route you're going down, right?
No, just give me your own answer, and I'll give my own answer. Stav, please don't steal my answer.
Sorry, but you're living in a dream world if you think anybody's going to be better, right?
I will explain how.
Well, I'll explain how, right? Because everything he did was for the good of the club, right? He just wanted to get enjoyment out of going to the games. That was denied him. And then he still carried on doing what was right for the club. And what we might want to see different, right, or any individual might want to see different, is irrelevant because he did the right thing by the club. That's why we're the most successful club in the period of his time, right? Mm-hmm. And if you, right, just to quantify that, if we didn't have, right, a dodgy referee, right, for those 2 FA Cup rounds against Arsenal, right, we'd have another 2 trophies on that cabinet, right? Yeah. We'd have more trophies.
Should I phrase it like this?
Do you want me to say that? Do you want me to say that he could have given managers more time? Is that what you want me to
Don't
say?
talk about my answer. Don't steal my answer, Stav. You and I are going to fight now.
That's what you want me to say.
Now, listen. Let me say it my own.
Did it right?
Yeah.
Listen.
Let me say it my own way, Stav.
They gave Tuchel an 18-month contract, right?
No. I'm not concerned. I'm not talking about the length of Thomas Tuchel's contract. Let me come in if you will allow me.
Look at the academy then. Look at the academy.
Yes, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Let me correct this way. There's no owner that can outdo Roman Abramovich. Until that happens, it's not possible. We cannot agree with that. But I think there's something. I think maybe I should have worded the question differently to make sense even better, because I don't want people to come out with placards and stand in front of my house saying, "What are you talking about?" But that's by the way. Now, the way I should have phrased it is, there are things I think new owners must do differently so that Chelsea can be even better. Let me not say maybe I'll do Roman Abramovich. Maybe that's wrong. Here's the thing. Under Roman Abramovich, we've been successful. We can all agree. That's the truth. But if you're on the panel or if you're in the chat, tell me any period in time under Roman Abramovich's era that we've had a stretch of time where you can say we dominated the Premier League, we dominated the Champions League, but clubs like Manchester United they've had that period where they dominated the Premier League for a long time. Arsenal has.
Did you
for
see
instance,
the competition?
I'm coming. Real Madrid have at some point dominated the Champions League for a long time. And the reason we haven't been able to do that is the lack of consistency. We've fired even 2 managers who haven't done that bad in some situations. Like, for instance, Jose Mourinho in his first stint shouldn't have been fired. Carlo Ancelotti shouldn't have been fired. Those are examples. And had Carlo Ancelotti remained, believe me, we would have dominated our Premier League for a long time. And the way... No, okay, can I talk? I know that you have your own, but if it was just say you agree, let me just talk. Football is this: when you create an identity, when you allow a manager enough time to create an identity for a football club, even if you change that manager, the new manager will not have a problem adapting. The adaptation period will be seamless. But when a manager is just 2-3 years or just 2 years, and so in some cases, I think Carlo Ancelotti's was just a year and a half or so. I'm not sure how long.
2.
2 years, exactly. So that's not enough time to create an identity for a club. A new manager comes in, they're going to start afresh.
Coach.
He's still calling me coach.
That's the only bad thing you can say about Roman. He got rid of the good managers too quick. That's the only thing, and nothing else. Everything else.
Exactly, that's my point. I'm not saying.
And we love him for that. We love him for the good thing he's done. Yeah,
exactly. I remember that doesn't take away anything he's achieved at the club. If you don't try to look at yourself, self-access, and say, okay, I think this should be done differently, you were never going to become better. Let's see it from the perspective. Let's see it from the perspective of the club. We want to dominate, and that's not possible until we prioritize consistency in terms of keeping managers that are successful. I'm not saying keep managers that suck. I'm not by any chance preaching that Frank Lampard should have stayed longer. That they should have let him stay.
Frank Lampard was the right decision. Roman made the right decision.
Exactly.
Coach. Let me one more thing before I forget.
He's still calling me coach. Go ahead, Nick.
Coach. I said coach.
Okay.
Coach.
Go ahead.
Coachila.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, look. Roman Abramovich done everything what no other person on this earth, on this planet will ever do. The only bad thing, like we said, you got rid of Ancelotti. Mourinho was the wrong time. You should never have got rid of Mourinho at that time. And even Ranieri, I was really gutted when we lost. He was second in the league. We were second, and they sacked him. That was ridiculous. That's the only things you can say. But I think
that's what I'm saying. And remember, Nick, apologies. Like I said,
coach. Wait a minute, man. Let me talk. Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick. Sorry, apologies.
Sorry, it's all right. And with Tuchel, it's different. I think Roman started to see what Tuchel is, and I'm sure Tuchel would have, in the end of his contract, he would have got a massive contract extension. Because it shows how much he loves the club. Tuchel shows it. No, not like any other manager we had. No one shows what Tuchel shows. No one we had before. Not Mourinho, not Ancelotti, no one. So this is different. But I'm sure Roman would have, given him more time. And I'm sure the new owners will give Tuchel time because of the way he talks, he loves the club. And that's what Roman wants, someone who loves the club. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, great input right there. Again, remember, before I started talking about it, I said, okay, maybe I should have worded my question differently, not from the perspective and worded that is not from align it more to the club and not to Roman as an individual, because nobody can outdo Roman Abramovich until that happens.
You didn't need to, because I knew exactly what you meant, right? So I'll respond, right? Jose Mourinho had success for 3 successive seasons, right? He built that squad with the spine, right? He turned players like John Terry, Frank Lampard, and Didier Drogba into world beaters. He did that, and he did it over the 3 seasons. That's why that was a mistake. That's why that was a mistake. Carlo Ancelotti came in, right? And he did it for 1 season. He did a double in the 1 season. In his 2nd season, we went out of all the cups, we went out of Europe, and we didn't win the league, right? And there's a reason why Carlo Ancelotti got sacked at Real Madrid as well, because they don't have the ability to adapt, right? They don't have the ability to change.
But can I ask you this, Stav?
Right?
Was sacking Jose Mourinho justified?
I said it wasn't from the very beginning.
Let's just stick with that of Jose Mourinho.
No, I just gave you a reason why it wasn't justified, and I've just gave you a reason why Carlo Ancelotti was sacked, right?
No, but that doesn't justify Carlo Ancelotti's sacking.
He would not have won anything, believe me. He wouldn't have won anything again, believe me. That's why Real Madrid sacked him. And
Can
he won
I
the
ask you,
Champions League
did
and they
club
still
win
sacked him.
everything? Did club win? How long has club been at
Italians,
Liverpool?
like Italian coaches who have gone abroad, do not have longevity of success. They only have that in Italy. Because in Italy, some teams are happy with a draw, right? So it makes it easier for the bigger teams to go and win the league. Okay?
All right.
Right?
All right.
That's the difference. Right?
All right, Stab. I understand your point. I think we should, because we have just about 5 minutes to round up. We're getting this is practically Blue Noon night. It's going from Blue Morning to Blue Noon. Coming to you, Showtime. What do you think about the point I just made? And remember, before, I know you're not going to attack me, but I just like to phrase it that way. Before you fight me, I said maybe I should have worded my question differently. Maybe I should have aligned the question more to the club and not to Roman as an individual.
Coach, you're right. Now, he made mistakes. Roman did make mistakes with Antonio Conte, Mourinho, Ancelotti.
It depends on who you ask. Exactly. There are cases where we need to dominate for a long time. We need consistency. Go ahead.
But he learned his mistakes. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think when we speak on his habits of using the Donald Trump way of you're fired, it's you can see it as a negative, but also you can see it as a positive as well, because you've noticed that when he fires a manager, another manager comes in and understands his role. That is the key. To lay down the law, it shows that, hey, you can't be set. You thinking you can go for one season, you win something, next season you can show me, I want to say, you show me poor performances, you show me that players aren't committed to you. Because look, under Frank Lampard, he played well. Then the following season, we were sitting in 9th. You expect us to keep somebody to see us through, to finish the season under top 5? No way. He had the right to fire Frank Lampard. Jose Mourinho, after 3 seasons, I mean, was Jose Mourinho happy after 3 seasons, or did he want more, or expected, or did Roman expect more from Jose Mourinho? That's why he got rid of Jose Mourinho, and he brought him back.
He got rid of Jose Mourinho to bring in Avram Grant, right? That is Roman's only mistake, because Mourinho gave us 3 years of success, and if he'd have left it alone and let Jose choose who he wanted to buy in the summer, right?
Yeah,
we wouldn't have lost that Champions League to Man United.
Honestly, now you see Jose Mourinho. If he doesn't get what he wants as a manager, he's just like look. You can see him just like Antonio Conte. Complain.
Forget now.
Performances.
All right.
Attack the ball.
All right, guys, and we have a marathon version on Saturday, and I'm inviting you, Showtime, Nick Blue, and we'll talk about that more on Saturday. Let's breeze through the chat, because I have just about 2 minutes to round up and call it a day. We've been streaming for 2 hours now. This comment by Mikhail Sell, all we're asking for is an owner interested in championing the football project at Chelsea FC and take the club to then next a level of global domination.
Agreed.
And I agree with you. Yeah, and we need a consistency for that to happen. I don't care whoever it is, as long as the new owners are good for the club, overcoming 10, 20, 30 years, perfect, good. We should have found a solution with Conte as well. There's so many instances, but for me, as an individual, in my opinion, I wanted Conte to leave. It was so negative.
We would never have won a Champions League with Antonio Conte, and that's proven fact.
No, that's rubbish. That's rubbish.
He's not a winner. He's not a winner.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. I loved Ancelotti. I do too. I still love him as a manager. The years when we won a big trophy, Roman did not improve the talent, the team in the subsequent season. That was another consistent mistake. In this aspect, I'd say maybe not him as the owner, probably those who make the decisions in terms of the board. Those guys. Yeah, that was unfair to be fired with SMS. Yes, that was unfair too. And this one here says, no one is perfect. Roman wasn't, nor will the next owner be. We can only hope the football continues to grow at this club. In academy, women and men, yes, we have to dominate English football. But again, to do that, we need consistency. And yeah, I think no one is perfect, but it's important to always learn from your mistakes. Roman, we love him. He helps us achieve a lot. We can look at things that we should have done differently, do it differently, and become even better. And here I said this yesterday too, don't sack managers so often. Keep Thomas Tuchel for many years. We're not going to make it about Thomas Tuchel in general. And Stab, I think, accused me of doing that a bit until I fought back. Hope Tuchel will stay. I hope he stays.
He will.
No, don't worry, Stab. We'll fight on Saturday. He's not couch.
What are you about, Stab?
He is Coachila. All right, Stab. He's not couch. He's Coachila. That's the unique. Hope new owners, Thomas Tuchel. Yeah, maybe 20 years.
He's on about me now.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm just reading. And Bobby Fairview says, we did not invest in the club after Carlos' first season of success. Same with Conte, same with Mourinho. Second stint, each of them got sacked in the second season.
They're asking for 2 months.
And you could argue the reason was because the club wasn't, there was no reinforcement then coming. Yeah, Tuchel isn't perfect, but he's pretty damn decent. Let's ensure we lock him down for long term. And ask for that to happen too. And after all, this whole situation of, it's gotten as worse as it is right now. We haven't had any statement from the club addressing the fans.
Can we mention Carragher now?
Go ahead. Okay, let's round off with Carragher. Go ahead. I'll give you the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I'm really disgusted what he had to say. Everyone's seen his comments. You're seeing what he said. Tuchel's better off going to United now. Or he made a lot of stupid comments. And for a person who spits on young children, he should be hanged and put away forever. The dirty sod. I spoke to him. I sent him a message on told him, fuck yourself and go, you're only a pervert.
And please, let's not call for anybody to be hanged. We don't want to cause trouble for the channel, please. We don't want to cause trouble.
He deserves every...
Nobody should be hanged. Go ahead.
He should be put away forever.
Nick, calm down.
Calm down. Not with this Carragher. Why is he on TV? Tell me. Why is he still on that bloody Sky Sports? He shouldn't be there. Why is he there?
Believe me, you cannot discuss Jamie Carragher in the space of 2 minutes. Start tomorrow's programme. Start tomorrow's Blue Morning with Jamie Carragher.
Yeah, it's not only Carragher. We had bad comments. Shearer, another one.
Let's start
okay, you know what? The title for tomorrow's Blue Morning will be "Let's Talk About Chelsea Haters."
Yeah,
if that works for you guys.
You know what he said.
There is an issue with Carragher.
A big issue with Carragher. A big one.
There has to be a background. There has to be a background to it, right?
But there is.
The
we don't have time to talk about him today. I think just briefly say something.
Start the program tomorrow with a quick update, then Carragher, right? I'll give the background to the whole situation, and then people can discuss him.
Yes,
okay?
Because he needs to be done.
And it's not
thank you. Thank you. Showtime. Any input about Jamie Carragher?
Mostly Carragher.
Yeah, and forget Carragher. He's a supporter of that Liverpool club.
It's not just that. Showtime, you can't forget.
He's a loser.
You can't forget. It doesn't matter if it's Liverpool.
Let's Showtime talk. Let's Showtime talk, guys.
It's relevant.
Let's Showtime talk.
He's mad that we've had more success in the past 20 years than he has ever had in his whole career.
Listen, guys, it's relevant because...
It's relevant to what we have going on.
No, he's not irrelevant.
We're not talking about that. We shouldn't let him get away with this Showtime. He can't get away with this.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from, Nick, but I can't see him, nor can he see me. So at the end of the day, I don't pay him no attention because...
It's relevant because he is an aspect of how the media responds to Chelsea. So he is relevant.
It's very
it's about
relevant.
The way media generally responds to Chelsea. So it is relevant.
But media, you know this, the way the media has been responding to us, we know how the media is told us.
Keep shutting up. We have to come out as fans and tell them what we think of these idiots.
Make it the media.
I'm all for it.
All right, can we talk one by one, please?
Coachila,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Showtime. Showtime was talking.
Look, I understand where you guys are coming from. I really do. But at the end of the day, for me, I'm gonna let you guys give all the energy, and I will back you up. I'm not gonna go out my way to pay him any mind because
It's not
he's
about
not.
character. Like, listen, Showtime. It's not about character. Right? He's an aspect of the way the media responds to
Yeah,
us.
I mean, but you know
So
how the
we
media has been acting towards us for the past 20 years. This is nothing
yeah,
new.
yeah.
We
But
have to
it's now
we
reached a new
we
height.
as fans, like Nick Blue is saying, we have to come together and put the media in their
It's,
place, like we
yeah,
have been doing since
right.
the sanctions has been imposed on us. We have been putting the media and calling them out on their bluff, and now you're slowly seeing the decline of them coming at us and trying to talk bad
Yeah.
about
But
us. The backlash from Carragher this weekend alone proved that Sky Sports has have to censor him about his talk
Yeah.
on Chelsea football
They
club.
should ban him. They shouldn't allow him at
yeah,
Showtime.
but they're
He
not
should
going
be
to have
banned
it.
from TV. You
They're
can't
not
have
going to.
a
But they're
person.
not
How?
going to.
Me, I don't understand why they take him back. They
Do you know why they're
suspended him
not
for a
going to?
year. Why
Nick,
did
do
they
you know
take him back?
Nick, do you know why they're not going to? You know why they're
No,
not going to? Because
because
he
of the
gets
same
people.
rubbish or the same
No,
shit.
no, 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 no. Because he gets people to watch Sky Sports News,
Yes.
right? It
Yeah.
entices people in. So it is an issue. We do need to discuss it, and maybe we can come up as a collective policy on how we approach the media ourselves as a
Yeah.
group.
All right,
We have to find a
guys.
way to get him off this, get
Right,
him
All
off
right,
TV.
Nick Blue. Let me ask this question. Showtime, are you up for the Chelsea haters show, the next Blue Money show?
If it's tomorrow, I'm gonna be working early in the morning, so I'm
Okay,
off.
we'll touch. Okay, We'll touch that aspect later. Nick, I know you're up for it. Stav, I know you're
Yeah,
up for
yeah,
it.
of course.
Okay, so finally we have this comment here, and I want to welcome Antoine Flick Uganda. Bless you, and this is your first time here. I'm seeing that. To like the stream and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. That will go a long way for us. If the club allow a fund by the club, we will not get what we are looking for because the fund will make us slight mistakes, especially in transfer. I think Chelsea needs a football-loving businessman. That's what we're all praying for. And yeah,
just one thing. By fun, they mean fan.
Sorry?
By fun, he means fan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because in Africa, they use the word fun instead of fan. Okay?
Okay, I see. Mm-hmm.
Right, so he needs to change that to fan and educate his fellow colleagues in Africa that fan is one thing, not fun. Okay?
Yes,
All right. No problem. Yeah, thank you. Mr. Uganda, you're welcome to the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to say special thank you to Tobago and Mikhail. And yeah, forget the haters. Got no time. Yeah, maybe we'll just talk about it a little bit. It's not going to be the title for next Blue Morning. I appreciate Tobago. I appreciate Mikhail, Just Viola, and everybody that stayed till now, and the Ugandan that just joined. Bobby Fairview for all the great input. All other people, PJ artists. I can't say everybody's name. If I missed your name, apologies. And hopefully some other time I will not skip your name. And Mikhail, I wanted to say something. You asked a question a day ago with some word that I wasn't able to pronounce. My best option was to skip that question. I laughed so hard that I wanted to discuss that with you in private, but that's fine. Haters are attention seekers. Don't indulge their nonsense. That makes sense. If we make it a priority to talk about them, that means, well, they're getting the attention they seek from us.
Coachila, one last thing. It's not about haters. It's about hypocrisy.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't care if they hate us.
Yeah, so with that, we've come.
They can hate us all, as much as they want. But, when they do bad things, they shouldn't be talking.
It's hypocrisy, right?
Yeah, it is hypocrisy. And please, guys, with that, we've come to the end of the show. And we should continue praying for peace in Ukraine because people die every day from the bomb. Okay. Yeah. So please.
Tell Ukraine to get
before we
drop
go.
the NATO cause. Tell Ukraine to stay away from NATO. Then this will be over.
I pray for peace for Ukraine. Right. I pray for peace for Ukraine and the people who are dying there. And the same thing for Yemen. Right?
Yes.
For
Yeah.
you look at
Yes,
that. I
exactly.
like that
There
style.
are crises everywhere in the world. There are crises in
They're the
Africa.
two
There are
main.
crises.
They're the
Yes,
two main
exactly. So
crises
yeah,
right now.
pray for peace in Yemen, pray for peace in Ukraine, pray for peace in Africa. I think it all makes sense. Yeah, let's make it a level playing ground, not just Ukraine because it's a European country and it's but that's by the way. We pray for peace globally. Exactly. So with that, we've come to the end of the show, and
1 second. This is on my TV screen right now.
Carragher.
Right.
I knew it.
Tomorrow, I'll also keep people up to date with the draw for the Champions League. I'll have the Champions
But that's
League draw.
all. That's all right now. That's
All
all
right.
now, isn't it?
Tomorrow. The draw's tomorrow. Friday.
All right,
Yeah, tomorrow,
all right,
yeah.
okay. So, all right, I think we'll be here for the draw too. I will host a live show for the draw so we can all have fun. And with that, I say, God bless us all. Please continue to pray for global peace. It's important, not just Ukraine. We hope all it comes to an end. God bless us all, and please take good care of yourself. Take care, guys. See you guys next time.
Up the
Yeah.
Bye.
Big
Cheers.
up Chelsea.